All right, so we're back. And today, we're going to take a deep dive into the world of Nike. You've sent over, well, a lot.
Yeah.
We have articles, research papers. There's even a transcript in here from the latest earnings call. So
No. It's like somebody's.
really trying to get a handle on what's going on with Nike, their recent performance and what the future holds.
Especially for their stock, right?
Necessarily for their stock, yeah. So we're basically like piecing together a puzzle, using all these different pieces of info to figure out where Nike is headed next.
And I gotta say, I'm really intrigued by the contrast we're seeing between the general sentiment in these articles and what we're hearing, I guess, directly from the new CEO, Elliott Hill,
Yeah.
in that earnings call. The news has been pretty focused on, sales slump, but Hill's painting he's got a much more optimistic picture.
Yeah, that's what caught my eye, too. The news has been, like, all about Nike sales dropping for 3 quarters in a row, Donahoe stepping down, and then Hill coming back from retirement to try and turn things around. But in the earnings call, he almost seemed excited about the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a pretty bold move to come back after retiring, especially considering the whole context. Like, Donahoe's push towards direct-to-consumer sales, or DTC,
Yeah.
that was initially it was hailed as, this brilliant move, but it seems like it's hit a few roadblocks along the way, like the BMO Capital Markets study you provided.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good example of the skepticism surrounding these strategies, because it shows that brands going all in on DTC don't always see the profit margins they expect.
It's like they become the middleman, but without reaping the benefits.
Exactly. And I think some of that's playing out with Nike, right? Like, while their DTC sales did increase, the overall sales still took a hit, particularly post-pandemic as people went back to shopping in person,
Yeah.
And I gotta say, honestly, I don't think their over-reliance on discounts to clear out all that excess inventory probably didn't help either.
Oh, for sure. That's a good point. Discounting, it's such a tricky game. On one hand, yeah, you can clear inventory, but on the other, it can really devalue a brand's image, Especially a brand like Nike that's built on this sense of aspiration and premium
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah.
And I noticed that their earnings call transcript actually reflects this shift in thinking. Like, Hill actually mentioned this plan to reduce their reliance on discounts.
Yeah.
And to really focus on elevating the brand through more premium experiences.
Interesting.
So less everything's on sale and more this is a must-have item. I did find it interesting that Hill talked a lot about storytelling in that earnings call.
Mm-hmm.
He kept emphasizing the emotional connection that Nike wants to build with athletes and consumers.
Yeah.
Is that part of their strategy to move away from these constant discounts and regain that sense of brand excitement?
That's a really good question. And I think it might be a key part of Hill's overall strategy, Like, the sources you provided, it shows a clear pattern.
Yeah.
Nike's recent slump is partly due to a perception of a lack of innovation, a reliance on just a few classic shoe styles, and a somewhat generic approach. He really wants to change that narrative.
So instead of being the brand with the sale rack at the back of the store,
Right.
they want to be the brand with the story that makes you want to buy the shoe at full price.
Yeah,
Okay, I can see the logic there, but that's a big challenge, right?
it is.
Especially with all the competition in the athletic wear market these days. Like brands like Hoka
Mm-hmm.
and On Running.
Right.
They're really making a name for themselves, Especially in the running shoe market where Nike seems to have lost some ground.
Yeah, and Hill specifically acknowledged that. Like, they need to get back to winning in key sports categories like running. And his plan focuses on 5 key sports: running, basketball, training, football, and then sportswear.
Okay.
And interestingly, he's restructuring the company into what he's calling fields of play, with each sport segmented by men's, women's, and kids.
So instead of just having a general running shoe department,
Right.
they're going to have sections specifically for women's running shoes or kids' basketball shoes. Okay, that could be a really smart move.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the research that you sent points to the importance of catering to these very specific consumer needs.
Exactly. By organizing the company this way, they're signaling a commitment to truly understanding the needs of specific athletes by gender, age, and sport. And that feeds into their broader strategy of targeted product innovation and marketing.
So they're not just trying to sell everyone the same shoe anymore. They're trying to sell the right shoe to the right person. But can a focus on sports and storytelling really offset their financial challenges? I mean, that earnings call transcript, it hinted at some pretty big changes, but it also acknowledged some hurdles they need to overcome, especially in key markets like North America and China.
Right. And while global sales are a concern, those two markets, they represent a huge chunk of their business, and they're each facing their own set of challenges. Like in North America, it seems like they need to rebuild trust with their wholesale partners after pushing so hard on DTC.
Hmm.
And then in China, well, there's the issue of a slowing economy and just intense competition from like both international and local brands.
Hmm. Sounds like Hill has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, he does.
But his experience, his strategic shifts, and just his clear understanding of the Nike brand, it definitely gives some cause for optimism. I mean, he clearly believes he can get things back on track.
I agree. I agree. The question is, how will these changes translate into tangible results?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And to answer that, we need to dig a little deeper into their financials and see what's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, and that's actually where the earnings call transcript gets really interesting. While the news has focused on the sales slump, Hill actually pointed to some bright spots in their recent performance.
Okay.
Like their sport performance category showed year-over-year growth, with training, global football, and basketball all seeing positive momentum, especially in the men's and kids lines.
Okay, so there are areas of strength, even amidst the overall challenges. I guess that makes sense. Even if some of their classic styles are losing steam, there's still a major player in the performance wear market.
Mhm.
Did Hill offer any specifics about what's driving that growth?
Yeah, he highlighted a few key factors. First, they're seeing strong demand for their newer styles, particularly those inspired by like court basketball and football aesthetics.
Mhm.
Second, their investments in key sports categories, particularly running, seem to be paying off. They've seen good results from their partnerships with specialty running stores and their efforts to create more innovative running shoes.
So they're not abandoning the classics entirely, but they're recognizing the need to evolve and cater to changing trends and consumer preferences. What about their digital strategy? That was a big focus under Donahoe, and it seems like Hill is making some adjustments there as well.
He's definitely putting his own spin on it. While Donahoe focused on expanding their digital reach and growing their online sales, Hill is emphasizing the need to make Nike Digital a premium platform.
Hmm.
He talked about moving away from their like heavy reliance on promotional activity and paid marketing.
Interesting. So less about chasing every online sale and more about curating a higher-end experience, almost like they're trying to replicate the feel of their flagship stores in the digital space.
Exactly. Exactly. He talked about creating a sense of exclusivity and desirability,
Right.
attracting consumers who are willing to pay full price for, innovative products and engaging experiences.
Right.
And this aligns with their overall strategy of reducing reliance on discounts and building like a more premium brand perception.
Yeah, it's a bold move, especially in a world where online shopping is often driven by, price comparisons and the hunt for the best deal. But I can see how it could work if they can create a truly unique and engaging digital experience. Did he mention any specifics about how they plan to do that?
Yeah, he talked about offering like exclusive product releases, personalized content, and enhanced customer service through their digital platforms.
Right.
It's about making Nike Digital a destination, not just a transactional marketplace.
That makes sense. And it ties back to that theme of storytelling that we discussed earlier, right? If they can create a digital space that tells their brand story and showcases their innovations in a compelling way, they might be able to pull it off. What about their marketing efforts beyond the digital space? Any hints about their overall marketing strategy?
Well, he emphasized the importance of emotional connections, athlete-driven campaigns, and brand-building initiatives. He specifically called out, their iconic "Just Do It" campaign as an example of their ability to connect with consumers on an emotional level.
Ah, yes. That campaign is a classic example of Nike's marketing prowess. It's
Yeah.
not just about selling shoes. It's about selling a feeling, a lifestyle, an aspiration. I wonder if they're planning to revive that campaign or create something entirely new that captures the same spirit.
Yeah, he didn't give any specifics, but he did say that they're planning to increase their investments in sports marketing and brand storytelling. He talked about creating campaigns that celebrate the joy of sport, the power of human potential, and the inspiring stories of athletes who push boundaries and overcome obstacles.
It sounds like they're trying to tap into those universal themes that resonate with people from all walks of life, regardless of, their age, their background, or their athletic ability. It's a powerful approach, especially if they can connect those stories to their products and innovations in a meaningful way.
Exactly, exactly. And that's where their athlete partnerships come into play. He'll emphasize the importance of aligning themselves with athletes who embody their brand values and inspire consumers.
So it's not just about signing the biggest names in sports. It's about finding athletes who are authentic, relatable, and who represent the Nike spirit, right?
Mhm.
Athletes who can tell those compelling stories and connect with consumers on a deeper level.
Precisely, precisely. He
Yeah.
talked about the importance of partnering with athletes who are not only talented performers, but also like role models and leaders who are using their platform to make a difference in the world.
It's a it's a smart strategy. In today's world, consumers are increasingly looking for brands that stand for something,
Mm.
brands that align with their values. If Nike can showcase their commitment to social responsibility, sustainability, and inclusivity through their athlete partnerships, it could help them attract a whole new generation of consumers.
I agree. It's about aligning their brand with athletes who are, making a positive impact on the world, athletes who are using their voice and their influence to create change.
It's a powerful combination: product innovation, compelling storytelling, and authentic athlete partnerships.
Yeah.
It sounds like Hill has a clear vision for how to revitalize the Nike brand,
Yeah.
but can he pull it off?
Yeah.
Can he
Yep.
turn this vision into tangible results that will boost their financial performance and reignite investor confidence?
That's the big question. And to answer it, we need to take a closer look at their financials, their strategic priorities, and the competitive landscape they're operating in.
Right. Let's dig into those numbers and see what they reveal about Nike's current state and its potential trajectory. What are some of the key financial metrics we should be focusing on?
Well, revenue is obviously a key indicator. They've seen declining sales for the past few quarters, so investors will be watching closely to see if Hill's strategies can reverse that trend. Profit margins are another important metric. They've been under pressure due to increased discounting and rising input costs. So investors will be looking for signs that their pricing power is improving and that they're managing their costs effectively.
And of course, earnings per share are always a key focus for investors. How are they projecting their earnings to perform in the coming quarters? And are there any signs that those projections might be overly optimistic or pessimistic?
Their guidance for the next few quarters is cautious, reflecting the ongoing challenges they're facing. However, they've also emphasized their long-term growth potential, highlighting their investments in key growth areas like digital, direct-to-consumer, and international expansion.
So it's a bit of a balancing act, acknowledging the near-term headwinds, but also expressing confidence in their ability to navigate those challenges and achieve long-term growth.
But it's not just about the numbers, right? Investors are also evaluating their strategic direction, their brand strength, and their competitive positioning.
Absolutely, absolutely. They're assessing whether Nike is making the right moves to adapt to the changing dynamics of the marketplace, to maintain their brand relevance, and to stay ahead of the competition.
So it's about more than just financial performance. It's about their overall vision, their strategic execution, and their ability to create a brand that resonates with consumers and inspires them to embrace the power of sport. Indeed, indeed, it's a holistic assessment taking into account both their financial strength and their strategic prowess.
Okay, so let's delve into some of those key areas, starting with their strategic direction. What are some of the key initiatives Hill has outlined, and how are those initiatives likely to impact their financial performance and their brand perception?
Well, as we've discussed, he's emphasized the need to refocus on product innovation, athlete partnerships, and brand storytelling. He's also talked about elevating their brand image, reducing their reliance on discounts, and creating more premium experiences for consumers.
So it's a shift away from the mass market discount driven approach of recent years, and a return to the brand building strategies that made Nike a global icon.
Yeah.
But how are those strategies likely to play out in terms of their financials? Will they be able to generate sustainable growth while also maintaining their profitability?
That's the key question. It's a delicate balancing act. On one hand, investing in product innovation, brand marketing, and premium experiences, it can be expensive.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, those investments they're crucial for driving long-term growth and building brand loyalty.
So it's a long-term game They were not expecting to see immediate results, but they're betting that these investments will pay off in the future.
Exactly, exactly. They're playing the long game, and they're confident that their strategy will ultimately lead to sustained growth and profitability.
Okay, so we've talked about their strategic direction.
Mhm.
What about their brand strength?
Mhm.
Nike is one of the most recognizable and valuable brands in the world, but they're facing challenges in maintaining their premium brand image and connecting with younger consumers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Brand strength it's a crucial asset in today's competitive marketplace, and Nike is facing headwinds in a few key areas.
Okay, let's break those down. Starting with their premium brand image, what are the challenges they're facing in maintaining that perception of exclusivity and desirability?
Well, as we've discussed, their heavy reliance on discounting in recent years has eroded some of their brand cachet. When products are constantly on sale, it can diminish their perceived value and make the brand seem less exclusive.
So it's a classic case of overexposure. When something is too readily available, it can lose its allure.
Exactly, exactly. It's a delicate balancing act for any brand, finding the optimal level of availability and exclusivity to maintain a sense of desirability.
And Nike is working to address this issue, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. They're moving away from their heavy reliance on discounts, shifting to a more full-price business model, and focusing on creating products and experiences that feel more exclusive and premium.
So it's about reclaiming that sense of scarcity and desirability, reminding consumers that Nike products are worth paying a premium for.
Precisely, precisely. They're curating their product offerings, elevating their retail experiences, and crafting marketing campaigns that reinforce their premium brand positioning.
Okay, so maintaining their premium brand image is one challenge.
Mm.
What about connecting with younger consumers? What are the obstacles they're facing in resonating with the next generation of athletes and consumers?
Well, younger consumers, they have different expectations and values than previous generations. They're more digitally savvy, more socially conscious, and more attuned to brands that are authentic, transparent, and purpose driven.
So it's not just about having cool products anymore. It's about having a brand that stands for something, a brand that aligns with their values and their worldview.
Exactly, exactly. Younger consumers are looking for brands that are making a positive impact on the world, brands that are committed to sustainability, social justice, and inclusivity.
And Nike is responding to this shift,
Right.
right?
Absolutely, absolutely. They're actively integrating sustainability into their business practices, advocating for social justice issues, and promoting diversity and inclusion within their organization.
So they're demonstrating their commitment to values that resonate with younger consumers,
Mhm.
showing that they're more than just a sportswear brand. They're a brand that stands for something bigger than themselves.
Precisely. Precisely. They're evolving their brand narrative, aligning their actions with their words, and demonstrating their commitment to being a force for positive change in the world.
Okay, so maintaining their premium brand image and connecting with younger consumers are two key challenges. What are they doing to overcome these challenges and strengthen their brand for the future?
They're investing in a multifaceted approach, focusing on product innovation, brand storytelling, athlete partnerships, and purpose-driven initiatives.
Let's break those down. Starting with product innovation. How are they using product innovation to enhance their brand appeal?
They're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible, creating products that are both technologically advanced and aesthetically appealing. They're experimenting with new materials, exploring new design approaches, and incorporating cutting edge technologies to create products that excite and delight consumers.
So it's about staying ahead of the curve, anticipating trends, and delivering products that meet the evolving needs and desires of consumers.
Exactly, exactly. They're recognizing that product innovation is a key driver of brand desirability, and they're investing heavily in research and development to ensure they remain at the forefront of the industry.
Okay, so product innovation is essential. What about brand storytelling? How are they using narratives and experiences to connect with consumers on a deeper level?
They're crafting compelling stories that celebrate the power of sport, the human spirit, and the pursuit of excellence. They're highlighting the stories of athletes who have overcome obstacles, defied expectations, and achieved greatness.
So it's about tapping into those universal themes that resonate with people from all walks of life, inspiring them to believe in themselves and to strive for their own personal best.
Precisely, precisely. They're recognizing that people are drawn to stories, especially stories that inspire, motivate, and connect them to something larger than themselves.
Okay, so brand storytelling is crucial. What about athlete partnerships? How are they leveraging their relationships with athletes to enhance their brand image?
They're carefully selecting athletes who embody their brand values, athletes who are not only talented performers but also role models, leaders, and inspirations to others.
So it's about finding athletes who are more than just endorsers. They're ambassadors for the brand, representing its values and its spirit.
Exactly, exactly. They're choosing athletes who have a positive impact on the world, athletes who are using their platform to advocate for social justice, promote equality, and inspire others to make a difference.
Okay, so athlete partnerships are a powerful tool. What about purpose-driven initiatives? How are they demonstrating their commitment to social responsibility and sustainability to enhance their brand image?
They're actively integrating sustainability into their business practices, advocating for social justice issues, and promoting diversity and inclusion within their organization.
So it's about walking the talk, backing up their words with concrete actions that demonstrate their commitment to making a positive impact on the world.
Precisely, precisely. They're recognizing that consumers are holding brands accountable for their values, and they're responding by demonstrating their commitment to social and environmental responsibility.
Okay, so we've covered the four key areas they're focusing on
Yeah.
to strengthen their brand: product innovation, brand storytelling, athlete partnerships, and purpose-driven initiatives. What's the overall message here?
The overall desirable, but also like meaningful and impactful.
Yeah.
They're recognizing that brand strength in today's market requires more than just cool products and clever marketing campaigns. It requires a genuine commitment to values, a willingness to take a stand on important issues, and a dedication to making a positive impact on the world.
It's a bold and ambitious vision, and it will be fascinating to see how they execute it in the coming years.
Indeed, indeed. They're setting a high bar for themselves, and their success will depend on their ability to stay true to their values, adapt to the evolving expectations of consumers, and continue to innovate and inspire.
Now let's talk about their competitive landscape. They're operating in a dynamic and ever-evolving market, facing competition from both established players and emerging brands.
Absolutely, absolutely. The athletic apparel and footwear market is highly competitive with
Hmm.
a wide range of brands vying for consumer attention and market share.
So who are some of their key competitors?
Well, they face competition from established global brands like Adidas, Under Armour, and Puma, as well as newer brands like Lululemon, Hoka, and On Running.
Okay, so it's a mix of familiar names and up-and-coming challengers.
Yeah.
How are they differentiating themselves from this competitive set?
They're leveraging their brand heritage, their innovative product offerings, their athlete partnerships, and their global reach to maintain their competitive edge.
So it's about playing to their strengths, reminding consumers of what makes Nike unique and desirable.
Exactly, exactly. They're not shying away from the competition. They're embracing it, using it as fuel to drive innovation and stay ahead of the curve.
But they're also recognizing the importance of adapting to changing market dynamics, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. They're keeping a close eye on emerging trends, consumer preferences, and competitive strategies, making adjustments to their business model as needed.
So it's about being both confident in their strengths and nimble in their approach, adapting to the ever-changing dynamics of the marketplace.
Precisely, precisely. It's a delicate balancing act requiring both a strong sense of identity and a willingness to evolve.
Okay, so we've talked about their competition. What about the broader industry trends that are shaping their business? What are some of the key factors they're navigating?
Well, one key trend is the growing emphasis on sustainability and ethical sourcing practices. Consumers are increasingly demanding brands that are environmentally responsible and socially conscious.
So it's not just about the products themselves anymore. It's about the values and practices of the companies behind those products.
Exactly, exactly. Consumers are voting with their wallets, supporting brands that align with their own values.
And Nike is responding to this trend, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. They've made significant commitments to reducing their environmental footprint, improving labor conditions in their supply chain, and promoting diversity and inclusion within their organization.
So they're taking a holistic approach, recognizing that sustainability and social responsibility are integral to their long-term success.
Precisely, precisely. They're integrating these principles into their business model, recognizing that it's not just good for the world, but also good for business.
Okay, so sustainability is a major trend. What about the increasing importance of digital channels? That's a major shift in how consumers are shopping and engaging with brands.
They're fully embracing the digital revolution, investing in their online platform, their mobile app, their social media presence, and influencer marketing to create a seamless and engaging digital experience for consumers.
So they're recognizing that the digital world is not just a sales channel. It's a platform for building relationships, telling stories, and shaping their brand narrative.
Precisely, precisely. They're using digital channels to connect with consumers in new and innovative ways, creating a more personalized and engaging brand experience.
And it's not just about reaching consumers online. It's also about using digital tools to enhance their in-store experience.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. They're integrating their online and offline channels, creating a seamless experience for consumers, whether they're shopping online in store or through their mobile app.
It's all about meeting the customer where they are, providing a consistent and engaging experience across all touch points.
Indeed, indeed. They're recognizing that the lines between physical and digital retail are blurring, and they're creating a unified commerce strategy that caters to the evolving needs of consumers.
Okay, so digital transformation is a major force shaping the industry. What about the growing demand for personalized products and experiences? It seems like consumers are increasingly seeking products and services that are tailored to their individual needs and preferences.
They're investing in technologies and strategies that enable them to offer more personalized products and services, recognizing that customization and personalization are becoming key differentiators in the marketplace.
So it's about moving beyond the mass market approach and creating products and experiences that are truly unique to each individual consumer.
Exactly, exactly. They're offering more opportunities for consumers to customize products, create their own designs, and personalize their shopping experience.
It's about empowering consumers to express their individuality and create products that reflect their personal style.
Precisely. Precisely. They're recognizing that consumers are no longer content with one size fits all products. They want products that are as unique as they are.
Okay, so personalization is a major trend. What about the increasing focus on health and wellness?
Yeah.
It seems like consumers are more health conscious than ever before, and that's impacting their purchasing decisions.
They're actively incorporating health and wellness into their product offerings and marketing campaigns, recognizing that consumers are increasingly seeking products and brands that support their active lifestyles.
So it's about going beyond just athletic performance and embracing a more holistic view of health and well-being.
Exactly, exactly. They're offering products that support a wide range of activities from yoga and Pilates to running and strength training.
And they're promoting a message of inclusivity, recognizing that fitness is for everyone, regardless of their age, their body type, or their skill level.
Precisely, precisely. They're breaking down barriers and challenging traditional notions of fitness, creating a more welcoming and inclusive environment for all.
Okay, so we've covered several key industry trends. sustainability, digital transformation, personalization, and health and wellness. How is Nike navigating these trends and positioning itself for success in the future?
They're embracing these trends, recognizing that they represent both challenges and opportunities. They're adapting their business model, investing in new technologies, and evolving their brand narrative to stay ahead of the curve.
So it's about being agile, innovative, and responsive to the ever-changing dynamics of the marketplace.
Precisely, precisely. They're not resting on their laurels. They're actively seeking ways to improve, evolve, and stay relevant to consumers.
Okay, so we've talked about their long-term vision, their strategic priorities, their competitive landscape, and the broader industry trends they're navigating. What's the big picture here? What's the overarching narrative of Nike's journey right now?
The overarching narrative is one of transformation and reinvention. Nike is a company with a rich heritage and a legacy of innovation, but they're not content to rest on their past accomplishments. They're actively seeking ways to evolve, adapt, and stay ahead of the curve, recognizing that the future of their success depends on their ability to anticipate and respond to the ever-changing needs and desires of consumers.
It's like they're writing a new chapter in their story, a chapter that's still being written, full of possibilities and challenges.
Indeed, indeed. It's a compelling narrative of a brand that's constantly pushing the boundaries, striving to be better and inspiring others to do the same.
Now let's talk about their financials in more detail. Their recent earnings reports have generated a lot of buzz with analysts and investors closely scrutinizing their performance.
Absolutely, absolutely. Their financial performance is a key indicator of their overall health and their ability to execute their strategic vision.
So let's break it down, starting with their revenue. What are the key trends we're seeing in their top line performance?
Well, as we've discussed, they've experienced some revenue declines in recent quarters, primarily due to their strategic decision to reduce sales of their classic footwear franchises. They're intentionally shrinking that part of their business to reset their pricing strategy and regain that premium brand perception.
So it's short-term hit for long-term gain, right? They're willing to sacrifice some revenue now to build a more sustainable and profitable business model in the future.
Exactly, exactly. It's a bold move, and it shows their commitment to prioritizing long-term value over chasing short-term gains.
But their revenue performance isn't just about strategic choices,
Right.
They're also facing external headwinds in the form of a slowing global economy.
Of course, of course. The macroeconomic environment is playing a role with rising inflation, supply chain disruptions, and geopolitical uncertainty creating challenges for businesses across various industries.
So it's a combination of internal strategic decisions and external economic factors that are shaping their revenue trajectory.
Precisely, precisely. It's a complex interplay of forces, and it requires a nuanced understanding of both their internal operations and the broader economic landscape.
Okay, so revenue is under pressure. What about their profitability? How are their margins holding up amidst these challenges?
Their gross margins have been impacted by the increased discounting they've used to clear out excess inventory, as well as by rising input costs.
So it's a double whammy. They're facing pressure on both ends of the spectrum with both sales and costs squeezing their profit margins.
Indeed, indeed. It's a challenging environment for any business, and Nike is working to mitigate these pressures through a combination of strategic pricing adjustments, operational efficiencies, and supply chain optimization.
So it's about finding ways to maintain their profitability while also remaining competitive in the marketplace. It's a delicate balancing act.
Absolutely, absolutely. They're navigating a complex landscape, and they're making strategic choices to ensure their long-term financial health.
Okay, so revenue and profitability are key metrics. What about their earnings per share? That's a crucial indicator for investors.
Their earnings per share have also been affected by the factors we've discussed:
Hmm.
declining revenue, shrinking margins, and strategic investments. However, they're actively managing their share count through share buyback programs, which can help to mitigate the impact on earnings per share.
So it's not just about the absolute earnings number, but also about how those earnings are distributed among shareholders.
Precisely, precisely. They're using share buybacks as a tool to enhance shareholder value, even in the face of challenging market conditions.
Okay, so we've covered the key financial metrics: revenue, profitability, and earnings per share. What's the overall takeaway from their recent earnings reports?
The overall takeaway is that Nike is navigating a challenging environment, but they're taking proactive steps to manage their business, control costs, and invest in their long-term growth opportunities.
So it's a mixed bag. There are headwinds, but they're also showing resilience and a commitment to their strategic vision.
Exactly, exactly. They're not shying away from the challenges. They're confronting them head on, making tough decisions and adapting their approach as needed.
Now let's talk about their stock performance. Nike stock has been a topic of much discussion in recent months, with its price fluctuating amidst market volatility and concerns about their financial performance.
Absolutely, absolutely. Their stock performance is a reflection of investor sentiment, which can be influenced by a variety of factors, including their financial results, their strategic direction, and the broader economic outlook.
So what are some of the key factors that have been impacting their stock price?
Well, their recent revenue declines and shrinking margins have certainly played a role as investors have expressed concerns about their short-term profitability.
It's understandable that investors would react to those numbers, especially in an environment where economic uncertainty is heightened.
Of course, of course. Investors are always looking for signals of strength and stability, and when a company faces challenges, it can impact their confidence.
But it's not just about the numbers, right?
Right.
Investors they're also evaluating their.
Exactly. They're assessing whether Nike's strategic shifts, like their focus on direct-to-consumer sales and their emphasis on premium products, are likely to generate sustainable growth in the future.
So it's about balancing the short-term concerns with the long-term potential, trying to gauge whether Nike's current challenges are temporary setbacks or signs of deeper structural issues.
Indeed, indeed. It's a complex analysis, and different investors will have different perspectives, based on their own investment goals and risk tolerance.
Okay, so their stock performance is influenced by a range of factors. What about analyst sentiment? What are the experts saying about Nike's prospects?
Well, analyst opinions on Nike they're kind of mixed, with some expressing concerns about their near-term challenges, while others remain optimistic about their long-term growth potential.
So there's no clear consensus. It seems like the jury is still out on whether Nike's strategic shifts will pay off in the long run.
That's a fair assessment. Some analysts are bullish on their direct-to-consumer strategy and their focus on premium products, believing that these moves will position them for sustained growth in the future.
While others are more cautious, waiting to see like tangible results before becoming more optimistic.
Exactly. They're taking a wait and see approach, monitoring their progress and evaluating their execution.
Okay, so analyst sentiment is divided. What about investor expectations? What are shareholders looking for from Nike in the coming months and years?
Well, investors are looking for signs of a turnaround, evidence that their strategic initiatives are gaining traction and that their financial performance is stabilizing.
So they want to see like concrete evidence of progress, not just promises and projections.
Precisely. They want to see results that support their confidence in Nike's ability to overcome these challenges and return to a path of sustainable growth.
Okay, so what are some of the key metrics investors will be watching closely?
Well, they'll be monitoring their revenue growth, their profit margins, their earnings per share, and their inventory levels.
So it's about tracking those key financial indicators
Yeah.
to see if their strategic shifts are translating into tangible improvements in their performance.
Exactly. They'll be looking for signs that their direct consumer sales are growing, that their pricing power is improving, and that they're managing their inventory levels effectively.
Okay, so investors are keeping a close eye on their financial performance. But it's not just about the numbers, right? They're also evaluating their strategic direction, their brand strength, and their competitive positioning.
Absolutely. They're assessing whether Nike is making the right moves to adapt to the changing dynamics of the marketplace, to maintain their brand relevance, and to stay ahead of the competition.
So it's about more than just financial performance. It's about their overall vision, their strategic execution,
Yeah.
and their ability to create a brand that resonates with consumers and inspires them to embrace the power of sport.
Indeed. It's a holistic assessment taking into account both their financial strength and their strategic prowess.
Now let's talk about their global reach. Nike is a truly global brand with a presence in over 170 countries and a diverse customer base. But they're also facing unique challenges in each region, requiring them to adapt their strategies and tailor their offerings to meet the specific needs of each market.
Absolutely. Global expansion is a complex and nuanced endeavor, and Nike is facing a range of opportunities and challenges in their efforts to reach consumers around the world.
Okay, let's break this down, starting with their approach to different regions. How are they adapting their strategies to meet the unique needs of each market?
They're recognizing that a one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work in a global marketplace. They're tailoring their product offerings, their marketing campaigns, and their retail experiences to reflect the cultural nuances, the consumer preferences, and the economic conditions of each region.
So it's about striking a balance between global brand consistency and local relevance.
Exactly. They're striving to maintain a consistent brand identity and a cohesive brand message across all markets while also adapting their approach to resonate with the specific values and expectations of consumers in each region.
Okay, so let's look at some specific examples. How are they tailoring their strategies in key markets like China, Europe, and North America?
Well, in China, they're focusing on creating products that are specifically designed for the Chinese market, incorporating cultural elements, aesthetic preferences, and performance needs of Chinese athletes.
So it's about going beyond just offering their global product lines and truly understanding the nuances of the Chinese market.
Precisely. They're investing in local design teams, conducting extensive consumer research, and partnering with Chinese athletes and influencers to create products and experiences that resonate with Chinese consumers.
Okay, so China is a key focus.
Mm.
What about Europe? How are they adapting their approach in that region?
Well, in Europe, they're focusing on sustainability, innovation, and premium experiences.
Yeah.
European consumers are highly environmentally conscious, technologically savvy, and appreciate high quality products and services.
So they're aligning their offerings with the values and expectations of European consumers.
Exactly. They're highlighting their sustainability initiatives, showcasing their latest innovations, and creating retail experiences that are both sophisticated and engaging.
Okay, so Europe is another important market. What about North America? Their home turf. How are they approaching their largest and most mature market?
In North America, they're focusing on reestablishing their brand dominance, re-engaging with wholesale partners, and connecting with younger consumers.
So it's about addressing their recent challenges in this market and reclaiming their position as the leading sportswear brand.
Precisely, they're investing in product innovation, enhancing their retail experiences, and crafting marketing campaigns that resonate with a new generation of athletes and consumers.
Okay, so we've talked about their approach to different regions. What about the challenges they're facing in managing a global brand? What are some of the obstacles they're navigating?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is managing complexity. Global supply chains, diverse consumer preferences, and varying regulatory environments create a complex web of considerations that require careful planning and execution.
So it's about being able to adapt to different markets while also maintaining a cohesive brand identity and a consistent brand message.
Exactly. It's a delicate balancing act requiring a deep understanding of both global trends and local nuances.
Okay, so managing complexity is one challenge. What about cultural sensitivity? How are they ensuring that their brand message and their products are culturally appropriate and resonate with consumers in different regions?
They're recognizing that what works in one culture may not work in another. They're conducting extensive market research, engaging with local communities, and working with cultural consultants to ensure that their products, their marketing campaigns, and their retail experiences are sensitive to the cultural norms and values of each region.
So it's about being respectful of cultural differences and avoiding any missteps that could alienate or offend consumers.
Precisely. It's about building trust and credibility by demonstrating a genuine understanding and appreciation of the cultures they're operating in.
Okay, so managing complexity and cultural sensitivity are two key challenges.
Mm.
What about competition? How are they competing with both global and local brands in different regions?
They're facing intense competition from both established global brands like Adidas, Under Armour, and Puma, as well as from local brands that have a deep understanding of their specific markets.
So it's a multi-front battle requiring them to stay ahead of the curve in terms of product innovation, brand marketing, and retail experience.
Exactly. They're recognizing that competition is fierce in the global marketplace, and they're constantly seeking ways to differentiate themselves and create a competitive advantage.
Okay. So we've talked about some of the challenges they're facing in managing a global brand. What about the opportunities? What are some of the key advantages they have in operating on a global scale?
Well, one of their biggest advantages is their brand recognition. Nike is one of the most recognizable and valuable brands in the world, and that gives them a huge advantage in entering new markets and attracting new customers.
Right. It's like they're already starting the race a few steps ahead of the competition. Their name recognition alone, it opens doors and creates a sense of trust and familiarity.
Absolutely. Brand recognition is a powerful asset, and Nike has cultivated a strong brand image that's associated with athletic excellence, innovation, and inspiration. This allows them to command a premium price for their products and to build a loyal customer base.
Okay. So brand recognition is a major advantage.
Yeah.
What about economies of scale? How are they leveraging their global size and reach to improve their efficiency and profitability?
They're able to negotiate favorable pricing with suppliers, spread their marketing costs over a larger customer base, and streamline their operations to achieve greater efficiency. This allows them to offer competitive pricing while also maintaining healthy profit margins.
So it's about using their size to their advantage, optimizing their operations and maximizing their resources.
Exactly. They're also able to leverage their global network of designers, researchers, and marketers to create products and campaigns that resonate with a diverse range of consumers.
Okay, so brand recognition and economies of scale are two key advantages.
Yeah.
What about access to new markets? How are they expanding their global footprint and reaching new customers in emerging markets?
They're strategically expanding into high growth regions like Asia, Africa, and Latin America, where rising incomes and growing populations are creating new opportunities for sportswear brands.
So it's about tapping into those markets with significant growth potential, where there's a rising demand for athletic apparel, footwear, and experiences.
Precisely. They're also adapting their products and their marketing messages to resonate with the cultural nuances and consumer preferences of these emerging markets.
Okay, so global reach is a major opportunity for Nike, but it also comes with complexities, right?
Of course. Managing a global brand is a balancing act, requiring requiring a deep understanding of both global trends and local nuances. But Nike's track record of success suggests they're well equipped to navigate these complexities and capitalize on the opportunities that global expansion presents.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here today. We've delved into Nike's history, their brand, their financials, their strategies, their challenges, and their opportunities.
Yeah.
What's the big takeaway for our listeners? What should they be watching for as this iconic brand continues to evolve and adapt to the ever-changing dynamics of the marketplace?
I think the biggest takeaway is that Nike is at a crossroads. They're facing some significant headwinds, but they're also taking decisive steps to address those challenges and position themselves for future growth.
It's almost like they're like hitting the reset button, going back to their roots and refocusing on what made them great in the first place.
Exactly. They're re-emphasizing product innovation, athlete partnerships, and brand storytelling. They're also taking sustainability and social responsibility more seriously, and they're adapting their strategies to meet the evolving needs of consumers in different regions around the world.
So it's a multifaceted transformation with a lot of moving parts, but if they can execute their vision effectively, they have the potential to not only overcome their current challenges, but to emerge even stronger and more resilient than before.
I agree. It'll be fascinating to see how this story unfolds in the coming months and years. Will they be able to recapture their lost magic and reclaim their position as the undisputed leader in the sportswear industry?
Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Nike is a brand that's always been synonymous with pushing boundaries, defying expectations, and achieving greatness. And I, for one, am excited to see what they do next.
Me too. It's a reminder that even the most iconic brands must constantly evolve and adapt to stay relevant and successful.
And for our listener who's clearly keeping a close eye on Nike's stock performance, this deep dive has hopefully provided some valuable insights into the factors that are likely to influence their stock price in the coming months and years. It's a complex picture with both opportunities and risks, but by understanding the dynamics at play, you'll be better equipped to make informed decisions.
Absolutely. It's all about gathering information, analyzing the trends, and making decisions that align with your own investment goals and risk tolerance.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Don't forget to visit notyouradvisor.com and subscribe for more insightful analysis and discussions. We're always here to help you navigate the complex world of business and finance. Until next time.